Hello, I'm Mrs. Brinkley, and I'm going to be talking to you about the GCSE option that we offer at Honeywood. So, why choose geography for GCSE? We do lots of investigation in geography, looking at all sorts of interesting and quirky situations around the world. We often start with a photo, some kind of stimulus, just like this one, thinking about what or why or who this situation might be happening to. And for those of you who are having a good look at this now, it brings to mind ideas about migration and borders and who owns the notion of countries, because this person was trying to get over the border between Mexico and the USA. And it leads to lots of fertile discussion and is really an indication of just how vibrant and current the themes in geography really are. So there's lots of investigating, lots of modern themes and ideas, all within a really structured curriculum where we follow the OCRB curriculum, and it's all about geography for the inquiring mind. So our learners really get to delve into these interesting and current topics. So why choose geography? Obviously, I love it, but it's not just me. There's lots of benefits to studying geography. It's about the future and encourages flexible thinking. We learn lots about our physical and human world. We get to go out, do some field work. We get to do lots of transferable skills like data handling, discussion, and problem solving, which are all relevant in the workplace. And geographers are adept at making great decisions, including how we balance things for the environmental concerns, how we balance things for our economic needs, and where people fit into all of that too. Geography is exciting, inspiring, relevant to real life experiences, varied and challenging. It's not an easy subject, but what makes it manageable and doable for our learners is that it's so diverse and varied that if there's something that you didn't really like very much or didn't get on with very well, the next topic or the next session, there'll be something that's more for you. So there's lots of different approaches to the learning. We might be doing discussions, we might be doing written work, we might be doing graphs or diagrams. There really is something for everyone. We foster lots of key skills. So I've already mentioned things like data handling and problem solving, but also using evidence to back up your ideas or analysing different sources of information, all key things that we need to be able to do in the current times. Also, it's appealing to future employers. It's so diverse and so current, it really gets learners to think laterally and flexibly. We are a high achieving subject area in school, and we take good care to make sure that everybody achieves their best in geography. Quote here from the Royal Geographical Society: "Geography looks to the future and will prepare your son or daughter for the world of the 21st century. It is an essential contribution to education for life." Okay, so geography is split into three main subject areas: physical, human, and environmental. Everything from how mountains are formed, how rivers work, where our rainforests are and what they're like, to why so many of us live in urban areas and what happens when humanity clashes with the environment. Geography bridges that gap between social sciences and earth sciences, so we have uniquely placed to look at things in a more holistic manner. It's quite simply about the world in which we live and how humans and natural environments interact. So students learn to understand current affairs and key global issues, preparing them well to be future world citizens. I like to think that our geographers are able to pick up a newspaper or see a headline and understand the truth behind the story, that they know how to analyse and look into things to find the truth and have a questioning nature. So geography isn't all about the grade, but how do we get the grade? So we do that in three ways. We have three exams at the end of year 11. The first paper is all about our natural world. It's worth 35%. It covers topics such as global hazards, where we learn all about volcanic activity, earthquakes, all those kind of awe and wonder things that the earth is trying to kill us with. We also learn more about hurricanes and droughts, and we do various case studies looking into real life events like Hurricane Katrina, the earthquakes in Japan and Haiti, and anything else that might pop up at the time that presents a global hazard. It's not all doom and gloom. We do also look at how to mitigate or respond to hazards and how to save lives. And we look at where the job opportunities might be and things like that, like disaster management or even architecture that's designed to prevent buildings collapsing in earthquake zones. So we try and link it to the world of work wherever we can. We also do a unit on distinctive landscapes. This one's really UK heavy, and we look at things like whether the people that live on the coast in Norfolk ought to be protected from falling into the sea. Is that a valid use of our tax money, or should they just move inland? And what would happen if everybody had to leave the coastal areas? What would happen to our ports and things like that? How does our river system work here in the UK? So lots of understanding our natural landscapes. We have a unit on our changing climate. Really interesting, this one. We discuss whether or not climate change is all our fault or is it a natural phenomenon, and what are the different kinds of evidence for climate change, and is it all bad? We've got vineyards and things here in the UK now, and we might see our tourism industries booming. So our changing climate isn't all pessimistic, but we have to learn the evidence behind why it's changing and whether that's the same for us and other people around the world. We also have our last physical topic is all about sustaining ecosystems, the flora and fauna that lives in different parts of the world, how they're adapted to those ecosystems, and how those ecosystems are under threat, why that matters, and what can be done about it. So we have a really interesting case study about the Antarctic Treaty, and another one about the Bowhead Whale Sanctuary off the coast of Canada. So if you're into things like nature and the environment, this is a lovely topic. Really enjoy getting into what's going on in our more natural world. Paper 2 is more about humans. This one's worth the same as the physical paper, 35%. And we see topics like urban futures. Where do people live? Why are we so crowded into cities? How do cities change? What is migration, and is it always something to worry about? And urban planning. And you can see that there's lots of work-related links in this one as well. We have a really interesting topic about dynamic development, why some countries are richer than others. Are those poor countries likely to stay poor? How did that happen in the first place? Should we be doing anything about it? Where does our stuff come from? Really some meaty discussion topics in that one. And you find that learners come with a certain perspective, and by finding out what's actually gone on in the past and how it impacts people in different countries, they soon see things in a more broad way. We've also got a really modern and current topic. This one's called UK in the 21st century. How has the UK changed from being the centre of our empire to a Commonwealth country and a much more homogenised cultural landscape here in the UK? So we look at some really challenging questions like, is the UK losing its global significance? And we also have a really interesting case study in this topic where we investigate how the UK got involved in the war in Afghanistan and what it means to be part of groups like NATO or the European Union. Finally, we finish with resource reliance. This one's all about whether we're going to run out of natural resources, and can we actually feed 9 billion of us, which is the expected population by 2050. We look at all sorts of different arguments for that, Boserup and Malthus, how our water, food and energy systems work. And we even have a look at how we're trying to ensure food security going forward in countries like Tanzania, but also here in the UK with food banks and urban gardens. So it's relevant, it's up to the minute, it's really interesting. The third paper is unique to geography. This one's called a Synoptic Assessment, and you bring together the different parts of the 8 units that you've already learned. So, for example, you might have a paper looking at rainforests in Ghana and cocoa production. So that's sustaining ecosystems, dynamic development, and it's also looking at changing climate, which is unit 2, and how we can continue to grow cocoa without damaging the environment in Ghana that that the people there are relying on for their development of their country. So we get to have real world topics, real activities, and this is an exam. It's very unique. You actually get graded on your own idea of how to solve a particular problem, obviously using your geographical terminology and everything you've learned along the way. But the learners really enjoy this one because somebody's asking them what they think and what they would do about a particular situation. We have fieldwork opportunities. Geography doesn't just happen in the classroom. Current cohort 10, we are in the process of arranging a field visit for them, we hope, COVID allowing, to Weymouth. We look at the coastal locations of Weymouth and Lyme Regis, which brings in UK in the 21st century and the Jurassic Coast. And we have a look at how you conduct a survey, how you do field work, get out and about and really do it. And then we come back to the classroom and write all of that up. And you will be asked questions about that in paper 1 and paper 2. So it really does matter, and it's got some high value in the GCSE grading. But don't worry, if you don't want to go away, or if we can't go away for whatever reason, we can head off to Walton on the Naze or somewhere like Stratford and have a look at the Olympic Park and how that's been redeveloped. There's even fieldwork opportunities here in Coggeshall, looking at things like the new quarry that's been proposed or the housing developments and how they might cause conflict or provide opportunities for people in the local area. So there's geography everywhere, and fieldwork is a big part of that. So what do geographers do after they've gone on from school or university? Geographers are considered a very employable bunch. Lots of different opportunities in retail, but also really interesting things like disaster management and work both here in the UK and overseas. Geographers can handle data, they can be succinct, they can analyse material, they're well organised, they're creative and independent. Geographers are great communicators, we're spatially aware, we think about the social impacts, the environmental impacts and the economic impacts equally, so we're well-rounded, we're great team players and we're amazing at problem solving. All things that employers are looking for in the current climate. So here are a few different options, and this is by no means an exhaustive list, but a few ideas of where geography could take you. Everything from being an aid worker for an organisation like Oxfam, to a coastal engineer trying to protect those people in Norfolk we mentioned earlier, to maybe thinking about leisure and how we spend our leisure time and where leisure facilities ought to be. That's all work done by geographers. So here are a few famous geographers just to finish off with. I think Postman Pat's probably a bit of a stretch, but you get the idea. Geographers are a diverse bunch. We don't all go into one particular line of work, and we don't all have one particular line of interest. So this is just to give you a few ideas there. I'm going to leave you with a lovely quote from the lovely Michael Palin: "Geography is the subject that holds the key to our future." I hope that you're considering doing geography for GCSE. If you have any further questions or you want to know more about what the course entails or whether you might enjoy the study of it, then do get in touch with me. Thank you very much.